Let me start, first of all, by thanking you very sincerely, Mr. Chairman, for inviting us as government to participate in this, and I will shortly say why. Because we feel really proud to be associated with the work of our third president, His Excellency Mwai Kibaki, and what he did for this country. I am greatly privileged and really indebted in gratitude to the management of this university for, again, bestowing me the honor of presiding over the official opening of the Mwai Kibaki Convention Center. On behalf of myself and the government of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, I take the earliest opportunity to congratulate Professor Simon Kisharu, the Vice Chancellor, the management team, the Board of Directors, faculty, and students for this great achievement of opening this modern convention center. Its architectural grandeur and the sheer size speak volumes of your institution's commitment to investment in education and your institution's ambitions. I must also commend you for the wisdom of your choice of the name for the center. Besides commemorating the fact that it is Mwai Kibaki who granted MKU the charter conferring its university status in 2011, this center pays glowing tribute to the indelible mark the retired president left in education. His demonstrated passion and dedication to education is indeed legendary and well acknowledged beyond our borders. Under his leadership, the government, for instance, introduced free primary education and pushed through other critical reforms across the education sector. MKU, as you correctly acknowledge, was and has been a beneficiary of these reforms. The retired president is a celebrated thinker too. Like several of us in this congregation, he has straddled these academic corridors. His policies and pronouncements betray a practical economist and a consummate believer in the force multiplier power of education as a social economic emancipator. His passion for creating facilitative infrastructure to support quality learning is well documented. I have no doubt that Mzee Kibaki would be thrilled to associate himself with this project and its significance. There is another reason why this center is befitting in immortalizing the legacy of the third president of the Republic of Kenya. It is the nexus between education and enterprise that President Kibaki often propounded. For instance, when accepting his honorary doctorate degree from Makerere University in January 2011, President Kibaki challenged institutions to endeavor to be more of producers than consumers of wealth. An institution coveting a world-class reputation must disdain the beggar's bowl. It must learn to exploit resources from within to generate its own revenue. This wins it from over-reliance on government funding and other benevolences. It is therefore gratifying to note that the Mwai Kibaki Center is available for hire and for public use and has already hosted several local and international fora. I am reliably informed that it will host the International Yunus Social Business Academic Conference and the International Yunus Social Business Summit this week. This is the right direction in boosting internal revenues and ameliorating its 600 million price tag. Generated income gives the much treasured financial muscle, and it can also be plowed back to fund citadels of research and technology that should be an ideal status for our universities. Well-funded universities tend to attract the best students from within and without our borders. The most effective way of protecting our best brains from the allure of Harvard, Stanford, and Oxford, for instance, is to create our own world-class universities, and MKU is on its way to doing that. And continuing to do so requires, of course, sustained funding. And in a circumstance or in a situation such as we find ourselves, private enterprise and private universities that are looking for income-generating activities and resource-generating programs such as developing institutions like this will go a long way in offering sustainable and credible programs. I note with appreciation that MKU community boasts more than 40 nationalities. This diversity is invaluable for the exposure to and interaction with others' cultures that cements the bonds of the community of nations. More importantly, it creates a much-needed revenue stream and points to the right direction in our quest to promote education and tourism in our country. The government's decision to extend help to students in private institutions is part of its policy to enhance equity and resource allocation, as well as supporting private sector within the education sector. I am here to confirm to you, and I think this is one of my most cherished memories from my service at the Ministry of Education, that the government will continue to support private enterprise in the education sector, because this is the only way we are going to train the manpower that we need for our country. There is no government anywhere in the world that has got all the resources necessary to educate all its populations and offer education to those who seek it from across its borders. It is through working with, supporting, and putting resources in private enterprise that we expand the opportunities that we have in our country, such as is happening here at MKU. And I thank you, Mr. Gisharu and your colleagues, for the vision of developing these institutions. As we go forward, and to all Kenyan leaders, let us take advantage of this facility. I have already challenged my brother, my friend, and my contemporary to one of these fine days invite a cabinet panel here so that we can have a town hall with the students. I mean, I love facing people and facing questions. It's important for us to engage with the people we lead, and it will be interesting to see a cabinet panel here engaging with the students and having a town hall here. I really want to ask you, Professor Gisharu, to make that happen, so that we sit up here and field questions and explain some of the things we are doing. I'll mobilize my colleagues in my current responsibility as the chair of the cabinet committee or the prefect of the cabinet, and then we'll sit up here and field questions and respond to these young learners and our colleagues in research on some of the decisions we have taken and the things we have done as government. A society that engages in constant conversation and a society that communicates within itself is a society that will go far. We cannot believe in always lecturing people and telling them things that we are doing. We should also hear from them what they think about the things we do. And we'll be happy to be, to receive feedback and to interact with faculty here and students on a number of issues that we are doing as government. And many other things that could happen. I have, for example, challenged you, and I would like to offer another suggestion, that maybe it's time for us, in honor of President Mwai Kibaki, to start hosting Honorable Mwai Kibaki annual lecture on the economy. Then we invite senior economists from within the academy and those out there in practice to come here so that we debate. I mean, the questions that we have of the day, like, is our debt level unsustainable? They should be answered from this podium, with the economic students asking questions here. That is how we are going to grow our country, and that's how we are going to move forward as a country that converses amongst itself. Before I end my remarks, Mr. Chairman, I need to answer two questions I was asked, because as a public servant, I also have to be accountable and responsive. About 2 years ago, when we had challenges in Juja, we created a university community security committee around Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. What we did, and what I'm going to recommend here immediately, is that we asked the security teams to form a committee together with the university community, so that at all times when issues come up, they are addressed and the welfare of the university communities are attended to immediately. Because we have a huge number of students here and faculty, we have a big population here. Anything going wrong here affects a huge number of people. That experiment has worked very well, and I want to recommend to the Vice Chancellor, working with our Deputy County Commissioner and the team, that with immediate effect, you will have a meeting with the Vice Chancellor here, together with your teams, and form the university community security teams, so that you work with them. Secondly, and you will tell me by Monday morning, then I have asked the county police commander to immediately locate a police post here, as we agreed. So that, and I have spoken with my brother and my friend, Professor Gisharu, that we will cooperate in terms of providing a small structure. Then we put up, a small police post, so that we solve things in real time, as it were. And then when there are problems or challenges that involve our people in the community, we're able to attend to them immediately. I mean, in any case, as President Mwai Kibaki himself would put it, kwani tunalipwa kufanya nini? That is what we are paid to do. That's our work, as it were, and we are very happy to do it, and we thank the Lord that we have the opportunity to do it. Secondly, on the issue of the foreign students, I will ask the Director, Immigration Services, today to appoint. We usually have a desk, and we usually have officers at the Immigration Department whom we assign to deal with education sector needs, because we have foreign students, we have foreign faculty, who come to our country with contracts to teach and so on and so forth. We have foreign teachers who are teaching in some of our international schools in the country. We've always had this arrangement for a long period of time. So, Vice Chancellor, you will be called today by my Director of Immigration Services, and then you will set up a structure with him that addresses the foreign students who are here, so that whatever they need in terms of processing their paperwork is done fast enough. I mean, we need the revenue. We need to open our doors to those who want to come and learn here. We cannot operate in the old style of doing things, snail speed, and hope that we will succeed. Anytime we have an opportunity to have students coming from other countries, is an opportunity we should grab, because the benefits are huge. So I'll have my colleagues at the Immigration Department ring you up today, and then we will get you an officer, and we will immediately begin addressing any issues related to your immigration. And thank you for bringing that to my attention. I wouldn't have known that they existed here. But again, while I say that, I need to be frank and caution you that sometimes in the past, we have also had immigration challenges tied around universities. And some people who are not entirely good lie that they're coming into our country as students. And then once we have given them student status and their immigration status, they move on to the monkey business that they essentially wanted to do in our country. So we see, as we work on this together, it's important for me to be sincere with you and know that there is a responsibility you carry with this matter. And as we move forward, it is upon you to screen your students and vet your students, and we will go by the assurances that you give us. Should a problem arise, you will head together with those who need to head to the dry cleaner. So, but I know that I have known Gisharu for a long time, since school days, and his wife. I know you are people who are not going to be interested in those types of things, and you'll do the right thing for our country. So we will support you. That is what government is supposed to do. Our business is to support business. Our business to support private enterprise. Our business to support Kenyans who are determined to invest and grow institutions and advance the growth and development of our economy and our country in general, as it were. It's been a pleasure to be here. And lastly, but not the least, as we commissioned this building, I think we all should say that live long the legacy of President Mwai Kibaki, live long our country's nationalist spirit, live long the spirit of private enterprise, and may the Lord strengthen your hand for the good work ahead. Thank you.